Hey guys, RC here. We're going to do a new Let's Play series. This is a game called Surviving Mars. Came out a couple of weeks ago from Paradox Interactive. Very big company. Most of you or all of you probably know some of their games. I'm not going to do a tutorial because Paradox, a company that finally showed a little wisdom, reached out to the YouTube community and picked Quill 18 to do a tutorial for the game. So Quill has already done a 5-part tutorial series on his channel. No sense in reinventing the wheel. So when you get to the load screen, you can just click up here and that'll bring you to his playlist on his channel. Highly recommend checking it out. It's very helpful to kind of figure out the inner workings of the game, at least the basics. It hasn't helped me all that much, to be honest, because I still die pretty regularly. I've been playing a fair bit, not a ton, but a fair bit, and just trying a few different things out. My last solo play ended today, and it didn't officially end, but I was bombarded by a meteor storm, and it cracked open my dome, and I didn't have enough materials to repair it, and I had a suicide spiral where all of my colonists killed themselves. So I could have cleaned all that up with my drones and basically started from scratch, which I was going to have to do. But starting a new game is basically doing the same thing as well. So figured I would take this chance in restarting to do a Let's Play. I'm still going to do my FM stuff, but honestly, I don't know if it's that my videos are that bad. I don't know if it's that, just lack of interest in the game because it's been out now for about 4 or 5 months. I know it has to do with a lot of the FM community not being aware of my channel because I've gotten pretty good feedback on my videos, and I do appreciate that. But I'm getting 5 to 6 views per video, and so I figured now it was a good a time as any to kind of spread my wings a little bit and try do a Let's Play for this new game. So I'll still be playing FM. I'll still be putting up videos. It may be at a little bit slower rate, but that's still going to be my primary focus on the channel. But as I say on my channel description, I'm just your average Joe gamer. And, I'm playing stuff that I like and stuff that gets my attention. And this is a new game that I was pretty psyched about and have been playing it. So I do want to give it a shot. First off, I do want to activate a couple of mods, and you can pause the screen if you want to see those. These are the first mods I've downloaded for the game. I've been playing on vanilla up to this point, and we'll talk about what some of these do. Some of them are self-explanatory. But anyway, let's get back into the game. Yeah, I get it. So we're going to play a new game. And let the game load in. The game's kind of slow-paced right at the beginning. So, half of this first episode is probably just going to be setting up the game. But anyway, I am going to start with Europe. I am going to start with Mr. Handy. I am going to start with Rocket Scientist. And let's go with artificial intelligence, maybe? Actually, let's do spheres. I don't know what these are, but, So anyway, you can choose all 4 of these. These are your difficulty parameters, and each 3 of them, the mission sponsor, your commander profile, and your mystery, changes your difficulty bonus. So you start off with, I think, a 20% difficulty bonus on the easy mode, which is the default game that comes up when you hit new game. And if you hit easy game, it's the same thing. But I've heard not to do that because it kind of ruins the replayability because it just allows you to do everything. So anyway, I'm going to start off a little more difficult, so we're at 170% difficulty bonus. Because I'm a rocket scientist, I get an extra rocket, so we'll start with 3 rockets, 6,000 Mars bucks, which is $6 billion, I think. 400 research per sol, which is a Martian day. We can sell rare metals for 22 million per unit, and we get 100 starting applicants on Earth. We have 5 starting technologies that will be exposed immediately at the start of the game. Whenever we research a tech, we gain funding. If it's a breakthrough tech, we gain double funding. We do start with that extra rocket, and because of the rocket scientist, and we already know CO2 jet propulsion, which I really like the shuttle hub. Don't need it right away, but it is something that will come in handy pretty quickly. So, and I'll explain why I like starting with that one when we get into that screen. So we're going to start next. Here's our rocket. There's our little logo, the Mr. Handy. And here is our default rocket that the game has given us. Now, it's already in flight to Mars from Earth, but we can change our payload if we want to. So let's just check what they've got. We've got 1 drone hub, 1 moisture evaporator, 1 fuel refinery. That's good. 6 drones, an RC Explorer, polymers, machine parts, electronics, and 3 orbital probes. I like that. So we'll talk about what these do. It may be a little tutorial at the beginning as I kind of explain things, but I will try to just power through it. Now, as soon as you select a landing spot and start, pause the game. But let's talk about starting first. You can randomize, which will just pick random places on the map. You can right click and then move, and then drag it, and then that will rotate the planet. And then you can just pick random locations. But it also gives us several pre-chosen locations that you might be interested in. Now, what does this all do? Well, first off, each site gives you the coordinates, the average altitude, the mean temperature, the average temperature of that area, the topography, which will affect how easy it is to get around that area, how much buildable area there is. Now, then they have the resources. There's 3 types of resources in the game. The more blocks that are filled in, the more of those resources that will be available. The less that are filled in, the rarer those will be. And all of these are going to be pretty important at some point. And then the same thing for your 4 threats. The more that are filled in, the more often those will happen. The less filled in, the less likely they are to happen. So let's kind of browse around here. So this one has a lot of metals, a lot of water, a decent amount of concrete. Not really a lot in the way of threats, but some meteors. I kind of like that, but let's see what else they got. All right, that's rare on most threats. A few less metals. That's interesting. And you notice your difficulty bonus changes with this. Now, on this side of the planet, we actually have several more locations. All right, now that has a fair bit more meteors. I kind of like that one. I'm going to go with Elysium Beta. So if you choose the same start, and there's your coordinates, 2 degrees north, 176 degrees east. And we're going to hit start. And remember, when you hit start, immediately hit stop. Hit the space bar once the game loads in, and it will pause. So let's give it a second here. Any day. It is working. All right, so we're going to hit close and pause. There we go. So it hit pause, your space bar on a PC. All right. It's very similar to a lot of other games where it kind of gives you your your tips up here at the top. Now this bar, this is one of the mods. Typically you would have to pull up this window in vanilla to access that same information, but that does block a little bit of the screen. So somebody made a nice little mod for it, and it basically shows you all the same things. So I kind of like that, and it actually gives you a better breakdown of your colonists, which you do not get in here without having to go in and really look around. So kind of like that. So that's one of the mods. One of the other mods is this little red bar. This is your research progress. So as you research something, that bar will fill up. I believe it's yellow, and it just kind of keeps you clued in to what is available. So let's take a look at the map. And the reason you pause it is there's several goals in the game, and some of them are time sensitive. And it doesn't affect the game itself, but you do generate a score for what it's worth. I mean, you're playing against yourself, but if you only have till day 100 to finish something, you don't want to waste 3 or 4 days on the starting map just checking it out. So pause the game. That's what we're doing here. So the first thing you'll notice is we have this outer ridge that goes all the way around. That's elevated. And then we have this lower level inside this large crater. Now, we cannot move from the high ground to the low ground or low ground to high ground without building tunnels. Tunnels are very expensive to build, and you can't build them right away just because you don't have the materials needed. So it does take a little while, not forever, but longer than you would like. So I'm going to immediately want to build on the top because it gives me more access to zones, and these zones are going to give us research, raw materials, buildable area, and then we can move down into another spot. So you always start with one section scanned. That's picked at random. So even if you choose the same start, you could have a spot over here. You could have one down in the crater. Don't worry about that. And this is telling us that sector B, so A, B, 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's A across, and then 0 to 9 going up. So B3, that's where that comes from. So it's 100% buildable if we zoom in on it. So this area, we can build in the whole area. It has 2,992 concrete, which is this yellow area. And there's the 2,992, and it's average grade. It also has 80 metals on the surface, which are these rock deposits right there. Not these, but we have some rock deposits around. There's 80 metals. And then we have 821 metals below ground in this deposit. And we'll have to set up a mining process to access that. Mines do take colonists to run them. So without people right now, we are limited to our surface deposits. All right, so let's scroll back out. And I'm going to close the tips here. All right, now I want to kind of look up in this area. And I'm going to use these orbital probes. All right, so it didn't say we could find anything, but there is water and there is an anomaly. So let's check that water. It is a lot of water, 10,884 units, but it's low quality. So let's see. And then we have this anomaly as well, which is good. So let's scroll back out, and I want to use another probe there. Oh, there's another water, so that's good. And that's another big deposit, low grade, but it's still a big deposit, so that's a big deal. And you see we actually got a milestone for finding water. And let's look there. All right, so we have another concrete deposit, 2,397 units, average quality, and another anomaly. So the key things that you want to look for, I can't use the metal right now because I don't have any people. You need concrete and you need water immediately to start building your settlement, your colony here on Mars. So I want to settle here. Now there's nothing in here that needs to be within a dome area. So we don't have to build a dome here. We can build that somewhere else. But this is where I want to set up my base of operations. So I'm going to have my rocket land, and I want, you know what? I'm going to have him land right here in the middle to try to clean up some of that. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to come out this way right there. The reason I'm doing that is I want him to access all of this metal on the ground. And you'll see why here in a minute. All right, so I'm going to right click on this because I've already known about that. I'm still not going to unpause the game because we have to select sectors to scan and tech to research. So I'm going to hit the M button, go back to the map, and let's start scanning the area around where we are going to start. So you left click and the game allows you to set up to 10 locations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. So this is the one it's actively scanning, and then these are queued up, and that is going to get us basically what we just did immediately in these 3 squares with our drone probe. This just takes longer because we're manually doing it. So but that's going on. All right, so we can clear that now. And let's go in and look at the tech. So we're going to hit the H button, and here's our tech tree. Now, couple of basics on this. Couple of basics. You see that there are 6 different categories. 5 of them have things showing, and then we have what's called breakthroughs. These are like big, superpower type things, for lack of a better word. Also, you remember because we started as Europe, we started with 5 extra things exposed. So typically you would only have the first 5. We have two rows. These are all randomized. So what you see is not going to be what I see, and this is what causes the big amount of replayability with the game. Now, how do you expose more? Well, a couple of ways. The first way is to research something, and when you research one, when it's done, it will open up the next one, and you keep going. Now, you don't have to do these in order, so I could do the second one, and then that's going to cause this one to open. I could do that one, and I could never touch this first one, but you notice that's cost 1,000 research points to open. As you move farther over, they become 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. And eventually, when we get way over here, they might be 20 or 30,000 research points. So, and what really is bad is if something that you really, really need or would like turns out to not open up until way down here, that's a problem. Now, you see we have this one open and it's way out here. Why is that? Well, that's that CO2 jet propulsion, the shuttle hub, and we started with that because of our rocket scientist start. Now, before I choose these, let's go back, and you remember we had seen these 2 anomalies? Well, that could give us a breakthrough, the little magnifying glass. And you remember the breakthrough are like the super duper ones, right? Then you have this one, which is, this could open up multiple. So it might open anywhere from 2 to 5, and they could all be in one category. They could be all in, one in each category. Hard to tell. So I'll analyze these and you'll see exactly what they do. If you find one that one of these yellow dots that has the beaker like this, that actually gives you straight research points. So let's say that we're researching. I'm going to do that one first. So you see it cost 1,000 points. So let's say that we do an analysis of that beaker and it gives us 1,500 research points. Well, it would immediately finish this, so it would be done. If we didn't have anything else, we would waste those other points because they would just disappear. But if I had a second one in there, it would finish the first one, and then that other 500 points would give us 50%, or whatever it took. It would clear out into the second one. So that's really good to make sure you always have 2 or 3 in your queue. And I am going to do that one. That one and that one. Those will be our starts. All right, so I'm going to start with that. And also you can see we're getting 400 research per day, and that's because of our sponsor, the country from Europe. Different countries have different amounts. Now, there are going to be things that we will be able to research that will actually give us boosts, and we may eventually get up to 800 or 1,000 research per day. All right, so we've cleared all the things over here, right? And you know what? I want to turn off the hints. That's not it. Controls, gameplay, hints. There they are. Off, apply. I didn't change the language. Okay, so awesome. So that should be gone. And close. And yes, hints are gone. No, they're not. All right, let's try that again. Options, gameplay, hint notification, off, apply, close, close. Maybe it won't open, I don't know. All right, so anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to hit the space bar, and then I'm going to go ahead and speed it up to speed 3. We found 2 new anomalies, that's these 2, and we've already scanned, well, E8 is this one. So yeah, these are going to just pop up because we've already done that. Now there's our rocket coming in. There is a rover and some drones. Remember, we sent 6 drones. Right now, these are controlled by the rocket, and I can tell that because if I click on the rocket, the little blue diamonds shows the drones controlled by the rocket. If I had an RC drone controller, I could click on that, and same thing, it would show what we're controlled by that. Now, all I have right now is this RC Explorer, right? So I'm going to immediately have him go here and start doing that. Now, before I unpause it, remember we said we had all this metal here, and I landed the rocket there, so all this metal was in range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a universal deposit right there. I'm also going to build a metals deposit right there. And if you watch our little drones here, they are immediately going to take off and get to work on unloading and bringing things over here. Now, the first thing I want to do, and I'm going to pause it here, we do have 3 rockets as Europe, right? Well, I tell you what, before I do that, let's put a cut in here. We've made a landing on Mars, and we're getting ready to build. I'm at 24.5 minutes. Let's put a cut in right here. Come back for episode 2, and that's where we'll actually start gathering resources and building. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys look forward to this series. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you've played the game as well. That would be interesting to know. If you have, always feel free to give me constructive thoughts and let me know some things that maybe I could do better, because Lord knows I'm not perfect at this game, or any game for that matter. But leave a like for the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you're here for FM, fear not, those are still coming for the Journeyman. I will also still be live streaming the Leeds United save on Twitch on the weekends, Saturday and or Sunday. I usually pop on for at least 30 minutes to see if anybody shows up before I log off. If nobody shows up, I'll usually keep playing though. But anyway, have a good one, guys. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.